So we're back and we're in a new setup. This is the office space downstairs. And today we're going to be talking about why, if you're in sales, there's no reason you should be making less than 6 figures per year. There's no reason that you shouldn't be able to bring in at least $8,333 every single month to take you to that 100K a year mark. And if you're in sales and you're not hitting those numbers, hopefully this video will allow you to gain some clarity into why you're either not there, and is it the business opportunity that you're in, or are you simply not good enough? And most of the time, the truth is going to hurt. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about cash per live call and the 3 diagnoses, however you say that you can actually attribute your either lack thereof of success or your actual success. So I hope you guys enjoy, and let's hop into it. So what is cash per live call? Well, let's say you're a sales rep right now. You take about 8 calls per day, or at least you have 8 calls open on your calendar. You work 5 days in the week. So that's 40 calls that you have available for the business that you're working with to actually book in for you. Now, let's say that you have about a 62.5% show up rate. So this is out of every 8 calls that are booked, 62.5% show, which is actually 5 people that show up, right? So every week you're taking actually 25 live calls. That means every month you're taking 100 calls. So how do we actually backtrack to understand, hey, is this opportunity vehicle that I'm in going to allow me to make $100,000 this year? Or if I'm not on track to hit $100,000 in the year, is it my actual skill sets that are holding me back? And we're able to equate this down to cash per live call. Now on our team here at the Modern SDR, our team collects on average, right, our best reps collecting on average between $1,200 to $1,800 per call, depending on, who they are. So let's say, for example, they take 100 calls in the year. If they're collecting $1,200 per call, that means they're generating $120,000 cash. If they make 10% commission, then without bonus structures, without anything else involved, they're taking home $12,000 plus their bonuses. So if I know that the average rep or one of the better reps can hit $1,200 as a business owner, why would I let any rep who's not hitting $1,200 take calls? Do you see where I'm going with this? So if I know as a sales rep going into a company that the top rep collects $1,500 per call, and this is data from 100 different calls that they take every single month, then I know that those numbers are possible. So if the top rep is hitting $1,200, $1,500 per live call, and I'm at $400 per live call, well, if I'm trying to find all these different opportunities, then I'm never actually going to be able to hit my goals. Why? Because it's a skill set deficiency. In that scenario, I simply wouldn't be good enough to make $100,000 a year. And I talk to a lot of sales reps. I see a lot of salespeople over on Twitter, and they're offer hopping. They're going from one offer to another offer. Hey, these leads suck. Hey, these prospects are broke. The reality is you're just not that good at sales. So I think the truth hurts, but if you can understand, hey, what is the average cash per live call that the top rep does at this business? How can you achieve the same or similar results? Then that's going to allow you to actually hit the 6-figure a year goal that you may have set out for yourself. Now, let's say, for example, the top rep is hitting $1,200 cash per live call. Let's say you're at $500 per live call. So the top rep is outperforming you by nearly, 140%. So they're doing 140% more than you. I hope my math is correct on that. But what are the 3 things that you can actually change so you can improve your skill sets, so you can make more money, and ultimately get the success that you're going for? Well, what does low cash per live call stem from? Low cash per live call stems from either shit discovery, right? You have terrible discovery. Your pitch is off, right? Or you can't handle objections, right? And most of the time, you're going to get more objections if you don't have good discovery. Because if you can't actually properly build a gap, if you cannot build a gap from where a prospect is to where they want to be, then you are going to receive objections at the end of the call. There's no doubt about it. Oh, I've got to think about it. Oh, I got to talk to my wife. Oh, I have all these other things I could do. Oh, I'm just going to go back to my 9-to-5 job. Well, what does that stem from? That stems from poor discovery. And if you're not listening to the prospect, if you're not building a gap, if you're not understanding what their true pain is, and you don't know their true desire, then you're never going to achieve the results of getting higher cash per live call, which means more commissions in your pocket. And ultimately, you're also letting your prospects down because you're letting them jump off the bridge. If you've been to any of my other, trainings, you've watched any of my other videos, I talk about a suicide negotiator, right? If you're on a sales call, you're like a suicide negotiator. That prospect is on a bridge, they're ready to jump. And if you don't listen to them, if you don't ask them the right questions, then they're going to jump and they're going to fall to their death, right? So you're letting all these prospects die on the call by not going into discovery. So how can you have a better discovery on your sales calls? How can you listen more? Well, when a prospect is maybe just staying surface level, how can you go deeper? If a prospect tells you that they want to make more money, okay, what does having more money really look like to you? Why is that important? Right? Oh, how much are you making right now? Got it. And I guess, why is that not enough? Right? Ideally, how much would you want to be making? Okay. What's really stopping you from getting there? Has that had an impact on you? So you can see how these are all probing questions. Obviously, they're not in order, but you can see that these are all probing questions to unlock the real pain, the real desire from the prospect, and show them how your product or service can bridge the gap from where they are now to where they want to be. So that's discovery. Now let's look at pitch, right? If your pitch is really long, if it's a 15-minute pitch and the prospect is almost falling asleep during it, well, it's probably going to be very difficult to close the deal. If you can break down your pitch into a comprehensive 3-pillar framework that only takes 2 or 3 minutes to actually go through, I mean, if you can even get this in 60 seconds or less, then you're golden. Because the only point of the pitch during our sales call is to show them, hey, I truly understand where you're at. I truly understand where you want to go. And then this is the ultimate solution for how we can bridge that gap from where you are now to where you want to be. So that's the pitch. Lastly, we have objection handling. And once again, if you have poor discovery, then it doesn't really matter what objections you get hit with. You won't be able to handle them because the prospect doesn't see you as a leader and they don't trust you. So what are these objections that you might receive? Oh, I got to think about it. Okay. That's one. Oh, I got to talk to my wife. Okay. That's probably just a think about it objection. Why? Because they don't trust you, because your discovery wasn't good, right? Oh, I don't have the money. Okay. Money aside, do you actually feel like this would work for you? No. Once again, that's going to stem back to trust issue. And the money objection is simply a smokescreen because we didn't do a good enough discovery. Oh, now's not the right time. Okay. Well, once again, this stems back to a lack of urgency that was developed during our discovery phase of the call. So you can start to see that there's a lot of different nuances that comes in sales. And if you're missing any part of this during discovery, if you're missing any part of this during the pitch, if there's any time during the call that the prospect doesn't view you as a leader, they will not close. And by the end of the call, if you're getting hit with all these objections, that means most likely you didn't do a good enough job in discovery. So how can we actually get better at this? Well, it really stems down to 3 things. And if you can really focus on these 3 things moving forward, I truly feel like it's going to benefit you a lot when it comes to running sales calls, ultimately increasing your cash per live call, and ultimately allowing you to make more money. So what are those 3 things that you can do during discovery to improve your sales calls and to make more money? Well, first is going to be actually listening, right? If you actually listen to what the prospect has to say, if you actually listen to their pain points, their desires, what's holding them back from achieving those, then you can actually diagnose the right solution. Maybe your product or service isn't even the correct solution for them. But if you didn't listen to them, then you would have no idea. And because of that, there's not enough trust. So then they will not close on the deal. They will never buy your product or service. So that's number one, actually listening. Step number two is probing questions. How can you delve deeper with the prospect, going off what they just said, and not allow the prospect to stay surface level? If a prospect stays surface level with you, then they're closed off. They're not going to trust you. And if they don't trust you, they're not closing on the deal. And lastly, 3, what is the cost of inaction? Why is there urgency behind making this decision? All prospects want to stay in their comfort zone. And if we don't show them that there's urgency that they have to make a change, then the prospect's going to stay in their comfort zone 99.9% of the time. And what is that going to lead to? More objections and no deals closed, which means that you're not making the money that you should be making. So if you can fix these three things, then I truly believe that there's no reason you shouldn't be making 6 figures a year with sales. If you're on an offer and you know that the average cash per live call collected as a closer, right? Maybe you're a head advisor, it doesn't really matter what your role is called. But if you're taking 100 live calls a month and you know that the top closer or the average closer is able to average at least $1,000 per live call, and you know that if you take 100 calls, right, you're able to do the same, and that's $100,000 in cash, 10% commission, you should be making at least a bare minimum of $10,000 per month. And that takes you actually to $120,000 a year, which is more than I mentioned at the start of this call. So I hope this gives you some context from a business owner's perspective behind, the numbers, the math, cash per live call when it comes to sales. But also I hope you, as a sales rep, right? If you're watching this and you're a sales rep or someone that wants to get into sales, maybe you're working a 9-to-5 job, maybe you want to learn sales from us here at the Modern SDR, then if you simply understand these things and you simply understand, hey, the reason why I'm not making the money that I feel like I should be is because my skill level is just not there, then maybe it's a harsh awakening at first, but it will also give you the feedback needed to go make changes and to get the success that you want. So I hope you guys like this style of video. I know the desk is a little messy. We're in Austin for about another month and a half. My girlfriend just got accepted into her master's program out in Toronto. So that's really cool. We're kind of preparing a move out back to Toronto. We were there for 4 years. I think the recent Day in the Life video kind of went over that as well. But I'm really excited for us to be going back there. I think we're going to be out there for probably 2 years in Toronto. So that's awesome. But I hope this gave you guys some insight and how you can start increasing your income this year, whether you're in a 9-to-5, you're looking to get into sales, or if you're already in sales, how you can continue increasing your commissions every single day. If you want some more details for how you can work a little bit more closely with myself or our team, there should be a calendar link somewhere in the description, some sort of video in the description, kind of breaking down how this works. But I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.